question. How many times did you use the word things today? I have things to do. There are things I need to buy. Things are getting better. Here's the problem. Native English speakers notice when you overuse this word. It's like wearing the same outfit every single day. Technically, you're dressed, but people start to wonder, don't you have anything else? The word things is a crutch. It's vague, lazy, and it's keeping your English stuck at the intermediate level. But today, we're going to fix that. Hey everyone, I'm Cindy, and welcome to English Talknest, where we don't just teach English, we help you speak it like you actually live here. Today, we're going from basic to fluent by eliminating one simple word and replacing it with vocabulary that makes you sound sophisticated, natural, and confident. Let's level up your English right now.
Let me be straight with you. The word things is not wrong. It's grammatically correct. You can use it. But here's what happens when you use it too much. You sound like you don't have the vocabulary to express what you actually mean. Let me give you an example. Basic. I need to do some things before the meeting. Fluent. I need to finalize some tasks before the meeting. See the difference? The second sentence is precise. It's clear. It sounds professional. Here's another one. Basic. I bought some things at the store. Fluent. I picked up some groceries at the store. Again, the fluid version paints a picture. You know exactly what happened. The problem with things is that it's a placeholder. It's what you say when you can't think of the exact word. And if you keep using placeholders, your brain never learns to reach for better vocabulary. Think of it like this. If you're learning piano and you only ever play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, you'll never get better. You need to challenge yourself with new pieces, new skills, new complexity. The same is true for language. If you keep using things for everything, you're not challenging your brain to grow. You're staying comfortable, and comfort is the enemy of fluency. So today, we're going to break this habit. I'm going to give you alternatives for every situation where you'd normally say things. And trust me, once you start using these words, people will notice. They'll think, wow, their English is really good. All right, let's get practical. I'm going to give you specific alternatives to things based on different contexts. And I want you to really pay attention because these are words native speakers use all the time. Category 1, tasks and responsibilities. Instead of saying, I have things to do, try, I have tasks to complete. I have errands to run. I have responsibilities to take care of. I have obligations to fulfill. Each of these words adds precision. Tasks sounds professional. Errands implies you're going out. Responsibilities sounds mature. Obligations sounds formal. Category 2, personal items. Instead of saying, I need to pack my things, try, I need to pack my belongings. I need to gather my personal items. I need to collect my stuff. Casual, but still better than things. Category 3, shopping and purchases. Instead of saying, I bought some things, try, I bought some groceries. I picked up some supplies. I purchased some items. Neutral and versatile. I got some essentials for necessary items. Category 4, abstract concepts. This is where it gets interesting. When you're talking about ideas, feelings, or situations, things is especially weak. Instead of saying, things are getting better, try, the situation is improving, or circumstances are getting better. Conditions have improved. Instead of, there are things I want to tell you, try, there are matters I need to discuss. There are issues we should address. There are points I'd like to raise. Do you see how much stronger these sentences sound? You're not just speaking English, you're speaking it with precision and confidence.
Now let's take it up a notch. These are words and phrases that will make you sound truly fluent, like someone who's been speaking English for years. For daily activities, instead of saying, I'm doing things around the house, try, I'm doing household chores, or I'm taking care of domestic tasks, and I'm handling home maintenance. For work and professional settings, instead of saying, we need to discuss some things, try, we need to discuss several matters, or we should address a few concerns, or let's go over some agenda items, or we need to review certain aspects of the project. For possessions and equipment, instead of saying, bring your things to the meeting, try, bring your materials to the meeting, or bring your documents to the meeting, or bring the necessary equipment. For events and experiences, instead of saying, strange things happened yesterday, try, strange events occurred yesterday, or some odd incidents took place yesterday, or there were unusual occurrences yesterday. For characteristics and qualities, instead of saying, I like many things about this city, try, I appreciate many aspects of this city, or I enjoy numerous features of this city, or there are many qualities I admire about this city. Here's a pro tip. The more specific you can be, the better. Don't just say, I need to get things done. Say, I need to complete my reports, or I need to finish my assignments, or I need to wrap up these projects. Specificity is the hallmark of fluency. Now I want to teach you some sentence structures that naturally eliminate the need for things. These are patterns that native speakers use constantly. Structure 1, use action verbs. Instead of, I have things to prepare, try, I need to prepare the presentation. Instead of, there are things to consider, try, we should consider several factors. See how the verb becomes more active? This makes your speech more dynamic. Structure 2, use what clauses. Instead of, tell me the things you need, try, tell me what you need. Instead of, I don't understand the things you're saying, try, I don't understand what you're saying. This is a small change, but it sounds much more natural. Structure 3, use specific categories. Instead of, I love things about nature, try, I love the sounds, sights, and smells of nature. Instead of, we discussed many things, try, we discussed the budget, timeline, and objectives. When you list specific examples, you eliminate vagueness and demonstrate that you actually know what you're talking about. Structure 4, use aspects, elements, or factors. These 3 words are magic. They're versatile, sophisticated, and they work in almost any context. Instead of, consider all the things involved, try, consider all the factors involved. Instead of, I enjoy many things about my job, try, I enjoy many aspects of my job. Instead of, several things contribute to success, try, several elements contribute to success. Structure 5, be courageously specific. This is the ultimate level. Instead of using any general word at all, just say exactly what you mean. Instead of, I need to buy things for dinner, try, I need to buy chicken, rice, and vegetables for dinner. Instead of, let's talk about important things, try, let's talk about your career goals and future plans. This level of specificity not only sounds fluent, it sounds confident. It shows you know exactly what you want to communicate. All right, let's practice. I'm going to give you some common scenarios where people overuse things, and I want you to mentally come up with better alternatives. Don't worry, I'll give you the answers too. Scenario 1, at work. I have many things to do today. Better version, I have several meetings to attend and reports to complete today. Scenario 2, moving house. I need to pack all my things. Better version, I need to pack all my belongings and furniture. Scenario 3, giving advice. There are things you should know. Better version, there are a few important points you should know. Or there's some crucial information you should be aware of. Scenario 4, shopping. I'm going to buy some things. Better version, I'm going to pick up some groceries, if it's food. Or I'm going to buy some clothes, if it's clothing. Or I'm going to shop for household items, if it's general shopping. Scenario 5, relationships. We need to talk about things. We need to discuss our relationship. Or we need to address some concerns. Or we need to talk about what happened yesterday. Scenario 6, travel. Don't forget your things. Better version, don't forget your passport and tickets. Or don't forget your luggage. Or don't forget your travel documents. Notice how each improved version is more informative, more precise, and more natural. That's the goal. Now here's where the real transformation happens. I'm giving you a challenge, and if you take it seriously, your English will improve dramatically. The 30-day No Things Challenge. For the next 30 days, I want you to catch yourself every time you're about to say things. Stop, think, and replace it with a better word. Here's how to make this work. Week 1, just notice. Don't stress about changing it yet. Just become aware of how often you use things. You might be surprised. Week 2, start replacing things with basic alternatives. Items, tasks, belongings, matters. Week 3, level up to more sophisticated vocabulary. Aspects, elements, factors, circumstances. Week 4, go for complete specificity. Say exactly what you mean every single time. I also recommend keeping a small notebook or using your phone to track new vocabulary. When you hear a native speaker use a word instead of things, write it down. Build your personal vocabulary bank. And here's a bonus tip. Watch English shows or movies and pay attention to what words people use. You'll notice that native speakers rarely say things unless they're being intentionally casual or vague. Let me tell you why this matters so much. When you eliminate vague words like things from your vocabulary, you're not just improving your English, you're training your brain to think more clearly. Fluency isn't about knowing every word in the dictionary. It's about using the right word at the right time. It's about precision, clarity, and confidence. And the beautiful thing? Once you master this, people will start treating you differently. They'll take you more seriously in professional settings. They'll understand you better in conversations. They'll see you as someone who truly knows English, not just someone who's learning it. So here's my challenge to you. Starting today, eliminate things from your vocabulary. Replace it with specific, powerful, precise words. Do this for 30 days, and I guarantee you'll hear the difference in your own speech. Remember, you're not just learning vocabulary, you're building a new way of expressing yourself. Thank you so much for joining me today on English Talknest. If you found this helpful, smash that like button, share it with someone who's learning English, and subscribe because we're going to keep giving you practical, powerful tips that actually work. And hey, drop a comment below with one sentence where you replaced things with something better. I want to see your progress. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep speaking with confidence. I'll see you in the next video.